Okay, great. So let me go ahead and share my screen and just give me a thumbs up on the chat if you guys can see my screen. I just want to make sure that you guys can see me clearly.
Yes.
Chat. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. I think I got like a yes. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you, Lee Mighty. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the claps. Let's go. All right. So remember that to be present in this room, bring your full attention, eliminate all distractions, focus and stay with the conversation, engage and drop insights just like you guys have. Understand that how you do anything is how you do everything. And remember that this message today is specifically for you. And I really believe that. And I know that you guys are ready. Just so you guys know, the conversation that we're going to be having today after, we do a couple of exercises here. We're going to be mastering advanced sales strategies, mastering advanced sales strategies. That's what we're going to be talking about today. First and foremost, I want to do some affirmations because you guys already know the drill. So make sure that you unmute yourselves because I want to hear you guys. Let's make sure that we amplify our energy to level 10. You guys now know the drill. 1, 2, 3, power up. We're going to do that 3 times, and then we're going to go after the, yeah, there we go. I think somebody's already ready to go. All right, cool. Let's go. All right, so 1, 2, 3, power up.
Power up.
1, 2, 3, power up.
All right, that was like a level 5. Come on, guys. 1, 2, 3, power up.
Power up. 1, 2, 3, power up.
High energy equals high income.
High energy equals high income.
Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better.
Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better.
Every day and every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger.
Every day and every way, I'm getting
stronger and stronger.
Every day and every way, I'm getting smarter and smarter.
Every day and
every way, I'm getting smarter and smarter.
All I need is within me now.
All I need is within me now.
Perfect health.
I'm perfect health.
I was born to win.
I was born to win.
I will never surrender.
I will never surrender.
I will always keep growing.
I will always keep growing.
I was born to be great.
I was born to be great.
Today will be the best day of my life, no matter what.
Today will be the best day of my life, no matter what.
And let's just drop in. I signed a new listing today.
I signed a new listing today.
Open a new escrow today.
I'm opening a new escrow today.
All right. Now we're going to get started up. Thank you guys so much for playing full out. Thank you guys for bringing the energy. Thank you guys for doing these crazy affirmations. And what I always say, guys, you guys already know, in order to grow a business, you guys are going to need energy. You're going to need a lot of energy. All right. So if you feel uncomfortable amplifying your energy in this moment right now, which I know you guys don't because you guys are in this room, just understand that this little minute that we just did, it's just a small glimpse of energy that you need to bring that energy to everything you do, right? So that's why I want you guys to practice this amplified energy, because when you enter a room, when you have a conversation, when you are dialoguing with the client, he or she who is most influential and confident in the conversation will win. And that is all connected to energy, right? So let's breathe together. All right, we're going to do a quick little breathing exercise. All you're going to do is breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We're going to do that 6 times. And at the end, we're going to just hold as long as you can, just so we can oxygenate our body. So inhale in through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale whenever you'd like. Make sure that you guys are also breathing into the belly when you guys do the exercise, because the lungs, the lower portion of your lungs, is where 80% of your oxygen comes from. And a lot of us, we're walking around, doing very shallow breathing, and you're not getting enough oxygenation in your body. So when you breathe, even though I know you're sticking out your belly, I know you have to you have to expand your diaphragm, your stomach. Okay, I get it. It doesn't look sexy, but you got to do it anyways. Make sure you do that before your conversation. That'll ground you. And if some of you are feeling dizzy right now, understand that that's your brain saying thank you for the oxygen. And like I said in the beginning of this conversation, guys, gratitude is an abundance multiplier. So I wanted you guys to just take a moment and just really focus on what you can be grateful for. And I'm just going to say a couple of things, and then you guys just fill in the blank, what you could be grateful for. You can close your eyes if you'd like to, if you're able to, obviously. But I am so grateful to be here with all of you. I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful for the warm cup of coffee that I'm having. I'm so grateful for the roof over my head. I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful for my family. So grateful for my friends. I'm so grateful for my community. I'm so grateful for this organization. I am so grateful for the opportunities. I am so grateful for the fresh ideas. I am so grateful for our technology. I am so grateful. What can you be grateful for? Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Think about it. And I want you to feel it. I want you to feel the gratitude. Telling you, this is the fastest way that you can shift your energy in any minute of the day. All right. Awesome. Now, with that energy, bring it into the visualization with your eyes closed if you can. Again, right? Visualize, you're 12-1 or 1-1-25, and you are standing or sitting or wherever you are. Visualize yourself in that vivid image. You're scrolling through your phone and you're looking at your bank account. What does that look like, right? I want you to create it, visualize it. What kind of car are you driving? How are you walking? How are you talking? Who are you with, right? How many transactions did you do? How many families did you serve? Visualize it. Bring a vivid picture. Again, your brain doesn't realize if what you are imagining in this now, if it's real or not, because your brain just takes whatever you're giving it as reality. Cool. And make sure that you guys just don't do this with me here on Monday, guys. I want you guys to do this every day, right? This is the reason I'm doing this at the beginning of this conversation. I like to do this because this is what I do every day by myself. This, I really believe, is the foundation to everything that I do. Everybody always asks me, how am I able to maintain my positivity and my energy, right? How do I do it? Well, I do these things that get me in the right mindset. Ooh, and I just realized that my camera was off. Sheesh. Okay, great. I'm back on the camera. Awesome. Thank you guys for playing full out on this exercise. So now we're going to go into just declaring the goals. And remember, these are the company's goals. Make sure that you have your goals. Make sure you write these down. Production goals are 21,000 families served this year, 10 billion in volume, and to attract 10,000 agents to our organization globally. We're currently in 30 states and 9 countries. So my intention is that we're in every single state and every single country that EXP is in. So that's the goal for our company. Now we're going to be moving on to the market update. I don't have too many updates from last week to this week that are more on the national scale, but I did leave in a couple of slides that I think are very, very important that you guys should be creating some content and should be sending it out to your newsletters, because I know that every single one of you already has a newsletter. And if you don't, make sure that you take my training again and it's recorded. Do that. You guys are missing out. You guys don't understand. I'm getting come list me calls like almost daily from just people getting my emails. You guys don't understand how powerful email is. If you're not using email, you're missing on a big chunk of business. So these are the updates that I have that I wanted to leave in. Again, create content, right? You guys saw this last week, the year of the fives, right? 5 interest rates are going to have a 5 in front of it. There's going to be approximately 5.5 million home sales in the year of 2024. And appreciation, that means property values are going to go up 5%. I had a listing appointment last week. We sat down with the client, and guess what? I used these stats, and guess what? The guy was very impressed. He's like, oh my God, this is the best thing. I should be doing it right now. I told him, because this is when you know your numbers, guys, and trust me, you're much more confident and you cause breakthroughs and you create sales, you get paid. It's a win-win-win. Also, for somebody that is buying a property, right? Because everybody's kind of waiting out. I think everybody kind of figured out that this is basically the bottom of the market right here, guys. So, if somebody buys a property, right? And this is just approximate, right? They interviewed 100 different people that are, top professionals in the real estate industry. And they said, if you buy a property in 2024, by 2029, conservatively, right? If you buy a property that's $400,000, you're gonna generate $72,000 in equity over the next 5 years. That's a very conservative number. Obviously, do the math. If your price range is double this, that means that it's going to be $140,000 in appreciation in the next, 5 years, right? So just make sure that you obviously modify according to your price range. But I think this is a really good stat. This could be a cool video that you do on social media, you share with people, right? And, start off with the hook, right? I've been listening to a lot of people, because you guys already know I do a bunch of videos, but the controversial stuff actually does better, right? So even you could even start off by saying like, hey, this is the reason why you shouldn't buy a home in 2024. And then people are going to be like, wait a minute. They're going to click like, wait, what do you mean I shouldn't buy a property in 2024? They're going to click, and then you can go into, this is the reason why I think you shouldn't be buying a property in 2024. You shouldn't be buying a property if you don't want to gain equity in, right? You could just like spin it. You're going to start it off, slightly controversial, and then you're going to spin it into something positive. And you can tell them the top 3 reasons on why they need to become a homeowner. So that's just a little, my 2 cents on that. And again, this just shows you in percentages, right? December to December forecast. This is 5%, that's going to be appreciating, 2.35 in 2024, 2.7 in 2025, 3.6 in 2026. 4%. You guys see the math. It's, we're going to be in a really good spot. So make sure that you guys get out there, talk to your customers, motivate them to get into the market now. And next thing, we're going to go into a local market update, right? As you guys already know, these are the 5 counties that surround me. If you guys don't know how to do this, make sure you message Terry. She will send you something where you can do a market update. So you understand, you need to understand how many actives, how many pendings, how many closed, what's the average sales price, how many days on the market. You need to know these numbers. So when you go speak to a buyer or seller, you're going to sound competent. You have no idea how many people I bump into and they tell me, man, the market is blank, like shit. Like they say, like, I hear like negative things sometimes. I'm like, have you actually looked at the numbers? No, I haven't. I just heard that the market is bad. I'm like, my numbers show different. Like there is literally real estate being sold. Yes, the transactions could be down, but look, numbers are still there. 738 million in Los Angeles, 351 million in Orange County, 318 million in San Diego, 279 million in Riverside, 161 million in San Bernardino. What does that total out to? That totals out to 1.8 billion in closings, 1,900 properties, $46 million in commissions. And this is only 7 days, guys, not a month, right? I keep track of this thing week by week. So you guys should know this information. The training for, I think there was a question in here. I'll get to your questions. So make sure you drop your questions into the chat. I'll make sure to get to them here, towards the end of the conversation. But now we're going to be switching gears to mastering advanced sales strategies. Mastering advanced sales strategies. Guys, sales is all about communication, right? Sales is just communication. That's what sales is, okay? Sales are communication. One thing that you should master, if you want to master sales strategies, you got to master your emotions. Because most of the time you are taking out in a conversation, not because you don't know the answer, but you're taking out because of your emotions. So you have to make sure that you are mastering your emotions. This is not something they tell you in real estate school, right? They're not going to tell you, hey, you got to be a master of communication. You got to be a master of emotion. No, nobody tells you this stuff, but you really got to do this because we are in a business where it's constantly changing. Like you guys signed up for real estate. You guys signed up for constant change. I just want you guys to know that. And you guys got to understand that this constant change is going to be constant. It's never going to end. The better the relationship you can have with change, the happier you will be as a real estate professional. If you are wanting to hold on to everything the way it was and the way I did it before, and you are not embracing change, you will experience a lot of pain. Do you guys hear me what I'm saying? Does this landing? Right? I want you guys to embrace change and be very familiar with change. Be friends with change. That's what you signed up for as a real estate professional. This is the first point. You to master advanced sales strategies, you have to have a consultative selling strategy. It's essential to shift from a transactional approach to a consultative one. Focus on understanding your client's needs, desires, and pain points. By acting as a trusted advisor, you can build strong client relationships. This is a really important one, guys. I made the mistake in the beginning, right? I wanted to sell a ton of real estate, and I, had, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the term, right? This is my 18th year, guys. I was 18 years old when I started, and once you see the type of money you can make, I mean, you can have like what's called commission breath, right? Like nobody wants to have commission breath. So you do not want to think like that. You do not want to have that energy be there when you're talking to your buyers and sellers. You have to have, a mindset and an energy that you're a consultant, you're an advisor. You want to really connect with them in that way. And also with point number one, this is the biggest, I would say, thing that you really got to get about sales. Sales, counterintuitive to what you think, is not really what you say. It's really about listening. You guys have to listen, and you have to be masterful at listening, because most of the time, the stuff that you need in order to make that client go from where they are to where they want to be, it doesn't happen because you say some magically glorious thing that just motivates them. No, it's because you listen to them enough 90% of the time. How many of you guys are great listeners, and how many of you guys have ever had a client say, "Oh my God, I love talking to you," and the client spoke like 90% of the time? Has that ever happened to you guys? Right? That the client speaks 90% of the time in the conversation, and they tell you, "I love talking to you." And then I'm like, yeah, of course, because you talk the entire time. But that's a good thing. That's what you want to do, because clients are going to give you all the gold in the conversation if you actually listen. Don't listen to your, maybe you're like, "Oh man, I don't know what to say next." If you're listening to what you're saying in your brain, then you're not really listening to the customer. Okay? That's the first most important thing. That's the foundation of what you guys need. And then also understand who you're dealing with. Understand what kind of personality the client has, right? Some people might be very, 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 I said very data driven, right? Or some people are not data driven. You have to also understand that by listening and observing, right? 35% approximately of communication is verbal. The other 70, percent or 65% is all, unverbal communication. It's physiology. You got to pay attention to how they're walking around, what they're saying, how they're saying it. They're giving you all of these cues. So you got to make sure that you understand their communication style, not the communication style that you want to communicate with the customer. You got to communicate with them and the style that they like to be communicated with. You have to get into their world, right? I've been to listing presentations, guys, where I prepared this beautiful listing presentation and I have it all like super ready. And I walk in and I notice right away from the client's personality that this person doesn't even want to sit down, doesn't want to look at anything. They want to literally connect with me. And that's what I'm going to focus on. So I have literally done this, right? I walk in with my stuff, I put it to the side, and then I go and communicate. I go and build rapport. I listen attentively. I build that relationship, and I never even bring up my presentation because it's not necessary. At the end of that conversation, I go straight into like, "All right, great. Sounds good. Well, it sounds like I know your goals. I sounds like I know where you're going and where you want to be. So it sounds like you're ready to move forward, right? Yeah, perfect. Great. Sounds fantastic." So I go straight into having them give me their autograph. I never say sign. I never say you have to sign the contract. I said, all I need to move forward is your autograph. And they always get a kick out of that. People love to say when you're going to get their autograph and just the highlighted areas. So understand who you're talking to. I signed 3 listings because I understood who I was talking to. And I was a rookie, right? I listened 90% of the time. I understood that this guy was not very data driven. I listened to his story. And at the end, he says, "Hey, I think that I want to move forward. I want to do business with you." And I was such a rookie that I didn't even know what to do next. But he's like, "Well, don't you have anything for me to sign?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And then I took out the contracts, and then I got 3 listings signed. So guys, if you build enough rapport, if you are likable enough, that customer will give you leeway on certain things. By the way, that is the most important thing in sales, guys. You got to be likable. If people don't like you, that's going to be really difficult for you to do business with people. You have to be likable. You have to be likable by listening intently. That's the number one thing. So, advanced negotiation techniques. This I actually learned recently, and it's called BATNA, Best Alternative to a Negotiation Agreement. It talks about anchoring, creating win-win solutions. I'm actually going to just be doing a class specifically on BATNA. This was a really cool. There's even a college course all about this. But you have to understand negotiations. And that's actually part of your 3 jobs, by the way. Your only 3 jobs in real estate are to talk to buyers, talk to sellers, and negotiate contracts. Those are the 3 things that you should be doing as a real estate professional. Talk to buyers, talk to sellers, and negotiate contracts. 3 things that you guys should be doing. Everything else should be delegated or used on a non-dollar producing activity hour. Lead generation is going to be the most important thing for you to do in your daily life as a real estate professional. So again, talking to buyers, talking to sellers, negotiating contracts. And again, when you listen, you're going to also, and utilizing this BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement, guys, you guys have to think about multiple scenarios in the conversation. Right? You can't just say, you know what, I got the perfect thing that I'm going to say in this negotiation, and this is what's going to work. I also want you to think about the alternative, opportunities, right? What if they say no? What if they, throw a whole different curveball? Try to anticipate all of the curveballs ahead of time, and that way you're fully prepared when you're negotiating. You have to cover all your bases. You can't just go in with one bullet. You have to have multiple opportunities for you to bring that client home. So make sure that that becomes a staple of what you do in your negotiations. So objection handling, again, I covered this very briefly at the beginning of this conversation. I said objection handling is simply a question that you don't have an answer for. And that's what an objection is. You have a question and you don't have an answer for it. You have a question and you don't have an answer for it. That's what an objection is. Also, something I want you guys to take note of, because this has helped me so much in so many different conversations. This one thing can help you to create a solution to an objection, even if you don't know how the answers. And you guys have probably heard me say this in the past. You have to be masterful at answering questions without answering questions. You have to be masterful at answering questions without answering questions. And you're probably saying, like, Leo, what are you talking about? This is what I mean. You have to get really good at acknowledging and pivoting, acknowledging and pivoting, acknowledging and pivoting. And I want you guys to memorize this. Acknowledge and pivot, acknowledge and pivot. So let's just say you're in a conversation on the phone with the client and you don't know the answer to a question, an objection. What you're going to do is that you're going to acknowledge the question and then you're going to pivot to your intention. I'll give you guys a quick example. When I like one of my biggest transactions that I ever did, I that's why I actually learned it. I actually just made it up on the fly. I have to acknowledge and pivot. I didn't know I was doing this, but now I know I did this. My client asked me a very simple question, guys, that we all should know this, right? I was a rookie. I didn't know any better. My client asked me about escrow. Hey, what's your escrow fee? First of all, I had never taken a listing, so I did not know the answer to that. Secondly, I was like, I'm stuck. I'm thinking about it. I'm like kind of panicking. I'm like, I don't know the answer to this. And it's just something so simple. He just said escrow. I'm like, I should know this. But this is what I did. I said, hey, Mr. Jose, that was the client's name. Mr. Jose, that's a great question. I think that my office just updated all of their fees. Can I please step outside and verify this information and come back really quick? That's what I did. So I acknowledged his question and then I pivoted. I went outside. I called my office manager. I figured out what I had to say in this escrow question. She told me, I said it, and the guy signed the listings. This could also work not only just when you guys are in contracts and negotiations. It could also work when you're on the phone. There's going to be a lot of questions you guys are going to get on the phone where you guys don't understand the questions. So let's just say that they ask you, are you the listing agent? How old is the roof? How old is the electrical? What kind of flooring does it have? I mean, you're going to get all these questions. So what you don't want to do is brush it over and like not acknowledge it whatsoever, because what's the customer going to think about you? They're going to say, man, I just said I wanted to know about the roof, and Leo doesn't, like, obviously doesn't know the answer because he didn't answer my question, and he just like rolled over it and went into like another question. So what first step, right? When you don't know the answer to something, make sure you write this down. You got to make sure that you acknowledge it. Okay, you know what, Mr. Customer, that's a great question about the roof. I will make sure that I get the best answer, I get the right answer for you by the time that we meet. Does 3 o'clock still work for you today? So what did I do? I acknowledged and I pivoted. Clear? Do you guys get that? Is that landing, guys? Are you guys getting that, right? You acknowledge and pivot. This will help you to solve 99.9% of every single objection when you don't have the answer for it. And also what I want you to do as a bonus, when you get like a question that you don't have an answer for, write it down. Write it down and bring it back to, myself or one of your coaches or mentors. Because I remember when I had so many different objections on everything that I did, that's exactly what I did. I had a notebook of everywhere where I would get stuck. And then I would go talk to my mentor and I would run through my scenarios and he would give me answers to every single one of those objections. And before you know it, I knew the answers to every single objection. That's a little homework assignment for you guys. And thank you, Maya, for acknowledging. Thank you so much. This is another big one, guys. You have to take responsibility for everything with your clients. You have to take responsibility for everything. And I'm not saying you're guilty. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's your fault. I'm not saying that either. But you have to take responsibility for everything. You are the professional. You are the advisor. You should be leading that customer. They're looking up to you as a leader. Even if you don't think you're a leader, you are a leader. When you are representing a customer, you are leading them. They are expecting you to lead them. They're expecting you to tell them the step-by-step process so you can anticipate most of the objections. Most of the objections, by the way, will be handled if you actually prepare your customers and you anticipate the process. You tell them exactly what's going to happen. And when it happens, they're not going to be surprised. They're going to say, man, Leo told me that this was going to happen. Guess what? I look like a rock star. But if I don't tell them what to expect moving forward, they're going to look at me like, bro, we didn't even talk about this. Like, I'm lost. That's what you don't want to do. You want to lead the customer in the conversation. And if you drop the ball, let's just say you make a mistake, acknowledge it. You know what, Mr. Client, I made a mistake. I am so sorry. I'm going to make sure that I take care of this right away. By the way, move into your objective in the conversation. But you want to take responsibility for it. Not that it's your fault. You just want to acknowledge it. Because trust me, guys, we're in sales. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to drop the ball. So anticipate and understand. Don't also, like, which leads me to my next point. Don't argue with your clients. Right? Do not argue with your clients, right? If your client is getting combative, if they're getting upset, if they're getting frustrated, do not argue with your clients. It will suck the entire time in the transaction. If you start to argue with your clients, guess how motivated they're going to be to pick up your calls, and guess how motivated you're going to be to pick up their calls. Not motivated at all, right? You are going to, obviously I've been doing this for 18 years. I've had my handful of clients that are very combative, very confrontational, very aggressive, right? I've had to deal with personality types like that. D personalities, what we call them, right? Based on the DISC assessment. So when that happens, do not take it personal. Don't take it personal. Don't get offended. And that's where the emotional intelligence is going to come from. Don't argue with your clients. Just say, you know what, Mr. Client, I understand that you're frustrated. I understand that you're upset. I understand that this didn't happen by X day. And I will make sure that I take care of it moving forward. Again, you want to acknowledge it. You want to take responsibility for it. Don't argue with your clients. Elevate the conversation. You have to lead it. Trust me, if you guys go in the argument route, you're going to lose the client. And it's going to be a very painful transaction. Another thing in sales, guys, in masterful sales, you got to be prepared. You got to, and also feel good. You got to feel good. When you feel good, you do good, right? Be prepared. You know, I like to dress nice. I like to dress in suits. I like to, drive a nice car. But there was times, especially in the beginning of my career, when I didn't have a nice car, when I didn't have the best clothes. But guess what? My clothes were ironed. I smelled good. My hair was looking good. I made sure that like I was done up. Even if I didn't have enough money to buy the good clothes or even had a nice car, I felt good. So whatever you got, rock it with confidence. You got to feel good, because when you feel good, you're going to do good. You're going to have a greater conversation. That's going to make a big difference in your conversations with clients. So now we're going to move into a role play, right? I actually want to do a role play. And this is where I want to have like maybe one of you volunteer. And, let's just say that you're having a buyer conversation, right? Who's had challenges with buyer conversations, or any questions that you guys have there about a role play? And I can be obviously the agent. If I'm making a buyer call, I'm going to run a quick little scenario. But anybody have any objections about talking to buyers, or don't know what to say? So if anybody wants to volunteer, I want to do a quick role play. I'm going to be the agent. You guys are going to be the clients. You guys are going to have the easy part. It's not going to be difficult. So just want to have an opportunity. Mr. Sunny. All right, cool. Awesome. Thank you for raising your hand, Mr. Sunny. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Leo. Let's
All
go.
right. Yes, sir. So do you have any like anything that when you've had a conversation with the buyer, have you had any sort of like pushback or feedback or anything like that you want to share before we get started up?
No, sir, not at all. My clients love me, but I want to just practice this with you. I'll give you all the hurdles, which normally when I was new in the industry, I was facing.
Okay, great. This is one of the scenarios. So I'm going to give you guys some context. I'm going to make a call. Let's just say that I was referred somebody that I haven't talked to, and they're most likely not pre-qualified, right, Mr. Sunny? So you're not going to be pre-qualified. We're just talking for the first time, and I just got you as a referral. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sounds good. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Sunny, how's it going?
It's good. I'm busy right now, Leo. How may I help you?
Hey, man, I understand you're busy. My name is Leo Robles. Actually, I got your phone number from your friend Andre, and he mentioned that you were actually interested in buying a property. How soon are you trying to do that?
I'm renting from last 10 years, man, and someone told me that I can qualify for first time buyer program. I think something with zero down payment. You have something like that?
I actually have many buyer programs, so that's excellent that your friend shared with you the first time buyer program. So what I could do is actually do a quick little rundown of what you can qualify for, just to kind of give you an idea. And what I would like to do is actually set up a buyer consultation so we can get specifically into your goals, where you want to go, and also give you all of your loan options. So do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions really quick?
Yes, but you're not going to pull my credit, right? Right, Leo?
I'm only going to take a blood sample, actually. Just kidding.
Blood
No, I'm not
sample.
going
Okay. Okay.
to. No, not going to pull your credit. I'm just going to ask you some basic questions just to give you some framework of what you can qualify so far. So the first question is, approximately, and this doesn't have to be exact. I just want to kind of have an idea, how's your credit currently? What would you say? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it excellent? What would you say credit is?
I think last time I checked, it was 680.
680. Fantastic. Sounds good. And are you buying the property with anyone else, or is it just going to be yourself?
Oh, no, I'm single.
Single, right on. Sounds good, Mr. Sunny. Okay, cool. So credit score about 680. And what would you say is your income, like approximately on a yearly basis?
So I drive truck. So I made last year approximately, I think 120, 120.
120. Okay, sounds good. So 120,000 approximately in income. You got your credit about 680. And what would you say is your expenses? Like, and I'm only referring to like your minimum monthly payment. So let's just say that we're looking at like credit cards and car payments. And what would you say is your monthly expenses?
My truck payment, I'm paying like 2,800. Then my credit card. So altogether 4,800 every month.
$4,800 every month. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. So typically, right, and I'm just going to do a quick little scenario just to kind of give you an idea of what you can pre-qualify for. This is not a pre-approval process, obviously. So that means that you're, approximately making about $10,000 a month. And lenders are typically going to give you half of your income towards expenses. So that means that they're going to allow you to spend up to $5,000 a month. So that would be around approximately, 50% debt to income ratio. So based on what I see currently, you actually are going to need most likely a cosigner based on what I'm looking at so far. Because if your expenses are at $4,800 a month, lenders are only going to allow you to spend up to $5,000 a month right now. So what I would recommend if you have this option is to either pay some of those balances down, or eliminate some of those expenses, or B, obtain a cosigner. That way you can qualify. Based on what I just shared, what scenario would work best for you?
You think my brother will qualify? He is on W-2.
He's on W-2. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that may be a possibility. So one of the things that you could do is that when we meet, maybe if you want to bring your brother as well, just so we can include him in the qualification process. And just so I'm clear, Sonny, what areas are you looking in?
Rancho Cucamonga, Upland, and Fontana also. North Fontana, I'll consider.
Okay, so Rancho Cucamonga, Upland, and Fontana. Okay, perfect. And what kind of price range or monthly payments are you wanting to make on a monthly basis for a mortgage?
Lowest possible.
Yeah,
Leo.
low as possible, right? Like free if possible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what would you say is like a realistic figure? Do you already have that in mind or not yet?
See, this is my first time buying, so one of my friend, he said he pay around 3,700. So something like under 4,000, I will be comfortable.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Sounds good. So you're okay, great. Sounds fantastic, Mr. Sunny. So one of the things that I'll do is I'm going to send you over an email with a needs list of what items and documentation you're going to need. I'm also going to have my lender there. That way we can go ahead and run a free pre-approval. That way we can understand exactly what you're looking for. I would also encourage you to bring your brother. When in the meeting, I'm also going to have a couple of different options for you to look at, and then I'm also going to break down specifically the escrow process and also things that I encourage you to do to get really prepared to buy this property. Just know this, Sonny, that regardless of the outcome of our meeting and our consultation, I will be here to advise you and consult you moving forward. I am not attached to whether you buy a property now or never. I just want to make sure that you understand fully what your options are, and just kind of move forward from there. So I'm looking at my calendar. Do you have any availability later today or tomorrow to come in for a bar consultation?
I'm right now outside driving, so can we meet on maybe Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah, that sounds good, man. And definitely drive safe, man. It's raining out there. So Thursday, would you prefer morning, afternoon, or evening?
Afternoon will be okay.
Afternoon. Okay, fantastic. Sounds good. Does about 2 or 3 o'clock work best for you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. And Sonny, I have your email here, Sonny at sunnyshinesbrightly.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right. All right. Sounds good. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to send you over a calendar invitation with the address. And then I'm also going to send you over an email requesting those documentations. And I'm looking forward, Sonny, to, meeting with you at 2 o'clock on Thursday. And again, drive safe out there. And thank you so much for the opportunity for me to serve you here on your home purchase.
You're welcome, Leo. I'm looking forward to meeting you. But please do not pull my credit, okay, Leo?
Okay, you got it, my friend. I'll make sure that I do not pull your credit. Thank you so
Okay.
much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Perfect. Mr. Sunny, that was easy. Thank you, sir, for that. But that was not a very difficult conversation. Thank you for that. So,
You're
any
welcome.
insights or things that you got from my conversation? Like, I just want you guys to just kind of critique it or understand if your conversations are going like that, right? I'm just using this scenario as a pre-qualification script. That's one of the ones that I would use a lot because I would get a ton of inbound clients. What I like to do is I like to tell people like their approximate qualification just so they can get excited. When I would set up appointments with clients and I would tell them nothing about their pre-qualification, they weren't as excited to show up to the meeting. But when I gave the customer like an insight, well, based on what you're sharing, right? Sonny's scenario was actually he had a lot of debt, but if he didn't, I would have, I would have said like, well, based on what you're sharing, you can probably qualify for about $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. Your monthly payments are going to be approximately this. So you guys have to understand, even though you guys are not lenders in here, you guys are real estate professionals, you guys have to understand how to run those kind of scenarios, because if a client walks into my open house, or if I'm talking to a customer and I give them all this information, I get them excited, if somebody else tries to talk to them, they're going to hear things from me that they're not hearing from everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yes, Leo, what I normally bring a lender, right? No, I take a permission from the buyer, and I said, "Can you hold the line?" I bring my lender on the line. So
Yep.
that way, is that a good idea, or
That's a
not
good
bring a
idea
lender at
too.
this?
You can get them on the line. I mean, it just depends on the scenario, right? I like to look at the path that is the quickest, right? So if you would have said something like, "Yeah, I'm ready to buy right now, and I want to pull the trigger on a property," then I'm saying, "You know what, Sonny, hang on really quick. I'm gonna make sure that I add my lender to the line right now. That way, we can make sure that we process this pre-approval as quickly as possible." Right? It just depends on the scenario. That's, again, you're gonna understand that based on the scenario. Based on the scenario you gave me, we're gonna have to do some work, right? We're gonna have to clean up some of your debt. We're gonna have to work on co-signers. So in that scenario, I'm not gonna move as urgently just because of the scenario that we had. Yeah.
Awesome, got it, got it.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Sonny. I appreciate you
You're welcome.
playing on this role play. How was that, guys? Was cool? Any feedback on that? You guys get some value from that, right? That's how you want to have the conversation. Anybody can type it in, and Miss Lily, I'm not attached if you decide to buy a property now or never. Yep, that's it. You have to be super unattached. Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, guys. So, does anybody have a specific role play that you guys want to run with me? And, kind of similar to what we just did. Anybody else that has a specific scenario that you would like me to run? If not, I'm just going to move on to like a seller, conversation. Okay. All right. All right. So this is another one, guys. Like, let's just say that you're making a call to a potential seller, right? Again, the most important thing when you guys are talking to sellers, guys, is that they care about the value of their home, but what they really care about is where they're going to next. What you should care about is where they're going to next. You have to really understand that when you're talking to a seller, that they know that you're not in it just to get the listing, that you really care, that you really are interested in their motivation. Do I always, there was a quick question here. Do I always suggest having a lender with me at the consultation? So not always. It definitely helps. But see, one of the things that I've always done, I send them out like a kind of like a list of all the requirements of all the documentation, which are their tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, copy of their social security card. I know this stuff because I bribe my lenders to give me the list of things that they're going to request from the customer, right? So not necessarily, right? So don't allow that to stop you from setting up the appointment, right? If your lender is not available for any reason, or it's just like not able to happen, I would still set up that buyer consultation. I would still walk them through the step-by-step process. I would still give them guidance, talk to them about the escrow process, answer all of their questions, fine-tune their search criteria, and then you can then connect them with the lender after the fact and then send them over the documentation package that you've received at this point. That's what I would do. Brian asks, when meeting a buyer for the first time at a property, what's the most important question that I should ask? So number one, when you're meeting a client at a property and again, give me some more context, Brian. Is this somebody you're meeting from an open house, or you set up an appointment and you're meeting them at the property? Give me some more context if you can. You can feel free to unmute yourself if you like. Is it just
It would be from like a Zillow lead. Say I got a Zillow lead, I scheduled the property and meet them for the first time.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, Brian. So yeah, if you're getting a Zillow lead, you never met this customer, it's a cold prospect, right? First thing first, you want to make sure that, again, you're walking up like prepared, ready to go. Probably most likely handing them something of value, right? Giving them some sort like a printout with your business card and everything. You want to give them that information. Open the door, obviously, allow them to walk through, and do not follow them. Don't be glued to them like, to the hip, right? I would say allow them to walk around and then just kind of like feel out how the customer, try to observe them as much as you can so you can understand how they like to be communicated with, what kind of style they have. Are they funnier? Are they more serious? Are they more analytical? Right? So you're kind of like data collecting the first time that you meet with the customer. And then one of the most important questions to ask is from a 1 to 10, how does this property rank as your ideal home, right? How does this property rank on your wish list? Like, does this house check off every single box on your wish list? And then they're going to say, oh yeah, you know what? From a 1 to 10, I would say it's a 7. Okay, perfect. It's a 7 at this point. What would you say would make it a 10? And they could probably say something like, oh, the paint is like, it's not the one that I want. The like they can say some like really simple things, and that's where you can step in and say, okay, well, if it wasn't, if the paint was what you wanted to be, would this property be compelling enough for you to make an offer? Right? You want to go straight into an offer. Like, would this property be compelling enough for you to make an offer? If the paint was what you wanted it to be, would this property be enough, be compelling enough for you to write up an offer? And they're probably going to say yes or no. And then if they say no, they're most likely going to give you their next objection. Oh, you know what? Based on this property, yeah, the paint could be there, but the yard is actually too small for my family. Oh, okay, got it. So that's something you can't really fix. Like, if the yard is a small house with the small yard, right? And it's not the neighborhood that they like or something, like those are things that we can't change. Like neighborhoods we can't change, the backyard we can't change, like those things you can't change. But the paint, that's a really simple one. I would just kind of like tell them, like, look, man, I'm pretty sure that we can get a credit, we can work those things out. But that's what I would say is kind of figure out, again, try to get them to commit to something first time around. You're a cold prospect. And also, most importantly, make sure that you have at least 2 additional options available and ready for you to go show the property. At least 2 more options. Because if you just have 5 minutes with them, you enter the property and you exit the property, they can forget about you very quickly. So even though they might have said that they only had, time to see that property, in the conversation, I'm going to say something like, hey, you know what, Brian? Thank you so much for coming and meeting with me at this property. I know this one is like a 7. The neighborhood is not quite there for you, but I have another option right around the corner. It's only a couple of minutes away. I would love to show it to you really quickly. Can you follow me? Don't even give them an option to say no. Just tell them, can you follow me? That's what I would say. Get them to the next property, because when you're meeting a cold prospect, you need to spend more time with them. At the second property, you're going to, again, ask them the 1 to 10 question. You're going to get their scenario where they're at. And at this point, I also will start to ask them, hey, by the way, with your buying process, do you already have a lender in place, or would you like me to connect you with a professional lender that can give you various options? So that's where you're going to want to, give them that possibility as well. And if they say something like, yeah, you know what, I'm willing to look at options, I would definitely suggest for you to set up a buyer consultation so you can go into step-by-step process, so you can actually help them to anticipate. Tell them, a lot of the times, a lot of clients don't understand the escrow process, don't understand the buying process, and also don't understand what it takes to actually purchase a property. So what I want to do is actually do a buyer consultation so I can walk you through step by step for you to fully understand the buying process and make sure that you're making an educated decision, right? You want to do things like that. Hope that answers your question. That would be the first thing that I would do. And again, most important thing, be likable, build rapport, build trust. In the person consultation with my lender, have made the biggest and positive impact of my consultations, always bringing them with me. Lots of valuable information. Okay, great. Any other scenario that you guys want me to do? Because I want to make sure that I have a couple of more slides that I got to get to.
I have a big one.
Go ahead, Jacob.
What would you say about like an open house? Like, say like you have like multiple people coming in at one time, and you're like trying to like figure out who's like the most important to focus on. What's like the best like way to go about that? To like pick them and like make sure that you like provide them with the best like service.
Yeah, if you're going to have a lot of traffic in a property, that's a great one, by the way. What I would say is have some sort of like sign-in sheet. That way you can get every single person's contact information. That way you don't feel stressed to go after everybody and try to figure it out, right? I would make sure the first thing you got to do is have some sort of registration process. By the way, through KV Core, we have a registration process that they can register directly from your phone or an iPad. Like that way you can put in their email, their phone number, their first name and last name. So that's what I would say. That way it just settles your energy, right? Have a registration. Now what you can do, give them a strong handshake, welcome to the property, give them a flyer, ask them to walk around. Please let them know to come back when they have if they have any sort of questions, that you would love to get some feedback because the seller requested for you to get feedback. So you would love to hear what they actually think about the property. You do that with every single person, allow them to walk through the property. And the ones that are, you're going to start to listen and hear what they're saying. And then that's who you're going to be obviously connecting with. The people that are engaging with you the most, that's who you want to engage with. And make sure that every single person that registered for that open house, what I would do is I would get my phone and do a handheld little video and just say, acknowledge them by their first name and just say, hey, Jacob, it's Leo Robles at 123 Real Street. I just wanted to say thank you for coming by my open house. I look forward to connecting you soon. I would do that with every single person that walked into my open house, acknowledge them specifically because if they're walking into your open house, I guarantee you that they're walking into other open houses and you're competing with other people. So you have to stand out. You have to get their contact information. You have to do things that are not the average person is not willing to do. That's what I would say to that. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for that question. So I'm not going to get into the seller role play because I don't have a lot of time. I only have like 4 more minutes. I had a sphere of influence one and all that stuff, but I hope this stuff was valuable for you guys. So this is the book of the week, guys. As you guys already know, Robin Sharma is he's one of my mentors. Even though I haven't met him yet, he's one of my mentors. I listen to him a lot. And this book is the book of the week, The Leader Who Had No Title. These are the top 10 points of this book. You lead without a title. Turbulent times build great leaders. The deeper your relationships, the stronger your leadership. To be a great leader, first become a great person. Innovation is more important than talent. Tranquility is the new productivity. Self-leadership precedes team leadership. The best leaders blend courage and compassion. Leadership is about making a positive difference. Small daily improvements lead to stunning results. I highly recommend you guys read this book. I'm actually loving it. I love anything Robin Sharma. But moving on, want to just give you guys an update. This is where stock is at, $12.97 for today. We're at 1.9 billion. I also have I created this. So a lot of people ask me about my tech. A lot of like my microphone, like my glasses that are, camera, and I have a bunch of technology that I use. So if you're interested in understanding what tech I'm using, and like this is a link that thank you Terry for creating this. She helped me to create this because I get a bunch of questions. Everybody's always asking me about my microphones, about my glasses and things like that. So make sure that you guys scan that QR code, and that way you guys can see all the tech that I use. And then this is also something really cool, a new initiative that we just did, guys. If you have a listing that you would like for us to promote to our email list, which now spans for one email list that has 11,000 people, and then we have a slightly colder list that has another 20,000. So if you want to get it exposed to a couple thousand people, make sure that you scan this QR code and do a listing intake. That way Terry can include it in an email. We're going to be sending this out once a week. So make sure that you send this by Friday at 1 o'clock. That way we can promote your listings to the entire real estate community. So that was an idea that Terry and I were discussing. So we're very excited about this. So make sure that you scan this QR code. That way we can help you to promote your listing. Thank you guys for that. Also, this week, we have an excellent event that's happening for anybody that is interested in Zillow. We are having an event in Burbank, California. So this is going to be LA specific. So if you guys are interested in that, Terry can drop in the link here to get registered. But this is going to be a great event that's going to be happening later this week. And then also, I'm very excited about this, but I also have massive amounts of FOMO because I'm not going to be included into it. So we're doing an all-lady conversation called the Women's Circle. We're going to be doing this via Zoom, and this is going to happen on Wednesday. And Terry is also going to be dropping that. You guys should have already got the invite. But for all the ladies, this conversation is going to be hosted by Limairi, Monica Singer, and Cherish. So this is going to be game changer. So if you want to tune into this conversation, which I highly suggest you do, this is going to be game changer. We're also going to have Winner Circle Wednesdays. We're going to be hosting that via Zoom at 10 o'clock. Make sure you do not miss that. And then we also have a new agent training hosted by the Winner Circle at Friday at 10 o'clock. that I think is it. That's what we're right at 11 o'clock, guys. So I kind of ran out of time, but I just want to say thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for your attention. And I hope that your week is extraordinary and that you sign new listings, that you open up new escrows and get out there and get productive, right? Have conversations. Everything is about conversations, guys. All right. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Let's run it.
Thanks.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. God bless.
Thank
God bless.
you.
Thank
Have a
guys.
great week,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.